Learning Disability Month has been observed since 1985 when President Ronald Reagan issued a proclamation stating that the more aware Americans are of the potential that people with learning disabilities have, the more opportunities these citizens have to lead full and productive lives.
A learning disability is a difference in the way a person processes information and is caused by a neurological disorder. Although most of us understand the logic of our language, to some, language, numbers, and symbols do not come naturally.
These learning disabilities affect about 10% of the population, and many of those affected have more than one. There are three common learning disabilities. Dysgraphia relates to difficulties with writing due to issues with spelling and trouble transcribing thoughts. Dyslexia pertains to reading difficulties due to letter and word confusion. Dyscalculia, like dyslexia, involves confusion, but rather than letters and words, it is associated with numbers and math problems.
ADHD is not a learning disability, but it's also acknowledged this month. It's a disorder that makes it very difficult for a person to pay attention and control impulsive behaviors.
Although ADHD and dyslexia are more recognizable, recent studies have shown that 66% of people interviewed knew nothing of dysgraphia and dyscalculia. Hopefully, awareness campaigns such as Learning Disabilities Month will help change that.
Did you know Albert Einstein, Walt Disney, General George Patton, and Vice President Nelson Rockefeller all had trouble reading, and Whoopi Goldberg and Henry Winkler have been very vocal about how dyslexia caused teachers to label them as slow. None of these people let their personal challenges prevent them from being successful.
The history of studying learning disabilities dates back to the 1800s. They weren't easy to diagnose and students slipped through the cracks. In 1996, neurologist Dr. Guinevere Eden used functional magnetic resonance imaging to identify the regions in the brain that are affected by learning disabilities. Then, in 2005, Dr. Jeffrey Gruen identified a gene associated with dyslexia.
One of the biggest issues still facing people with learning disability and ADHD is being understood by society. We also know that this is not something that can be outgrown.
43% of Americans, including teachers, wrongly believe that learning disabilities are related to IQ levels. However, those who have learning disabilities are usually as smart as their peers and are often found to be highly intelligent.
If you see somebody struggling, don't be afraid to ask them if they would like help. The world is not always disability friendly, so your small act of kindness can go a long way.